fun film to dive into? I mean, besides like a not a sci-fi and not a serial killer, like you guys got to really push the color and push the fun on this one. How did you get involved?
You'd worked with Bill years and years ago.
Yes, I did an early movie of Bill's. I did Kinsey 20, I think 20 plus years ago. And we really bonded over our love of musicals. So on set, we would quiz each other and talk musicals. And I always said, I'd love to work with you if we ever do a musical. And here we are, just a few years later, got my wish.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty good. For me, it came out of nowhere. I mean, I've been so typecast as a science fiction designer at this point. But
That's not a bad
my
thing.
what's that?
That's not a bad thing either. I mean,
No, it's been fine. I'm grateful
yeah.
for the career, but I mean, honestly, I got to the point where I didn't think I could pull another spaceship out of my ass. I've just done so many of them. Um, my agent, who knows the kinds of work that I love and that I've always wanted to do, which is this sort of thing, she was talking with Bill's producer and really strongly suggesting you guys need to meet Scott.
Yep.
He's not had an opportunity to do something like this before, but he's raring to go, and I think you're going to like him because he knows the world that this movie takes place in. So they actually took her seriously, and we made an appointment on a Friday, and by Monday I had the job.
Nice. Nice. Well, the one weekend and I'm on the gig. Did you have to, I mean, in the discussion of it and you're talking with him and obviously there's been theatrical and movie releases of this.
Yeah.
Was the point to stick close to the book or like the or we're going to reinvent? Like what was that conversation like?
Bill, he's been wanting to make this movie for 10 years. And what he wanted to do was go back to the source material, take the novel, obviously look at Hector Babenco's film, and also take all the information of the Broadway musical and synthesize it and make his own version, his own story of it. And he's done something none of the other pieces did before. The movie within the movie being an MGM-style musical that's never existed before in this story. And because he knows the world of musicals so well, he's the perfect guy to have seen this tale through that lens and manifested on the big screen.
Um,
And and when I read the script, I'm familiar with the musical. I've seen it
no.
um, when it first came out on Broadway. So I'm assuming, reading the script that it's going to be a more literal adaptation of that. And immediately on the page, these lyrics came up, and I was like, these don't sound familiar. And I was thinking maybe it's new lyrics for one of the songs already, in the show. And then further into the script, more lyrics popped off the page that I just never seen before. And then discovered that Bill had gone deep into the archives of Cantor and Ebb and used songs that were written for, I think it was at SUNY Purchase. It was workshopped with Hal
Yeah.
Prince before Cheetah Rivera was even involved. And the musical within the story was very different, and so there was lots of material that hadn't been used in the Broadway production. So he was able to resurrect those and insert them into the movie.
So he's gone back like to the 70s, like to back before it was like
Well, it went from a
what's it called?
book
The
to a
book, the show,
play to a movie to a Broadway musical and then to our
and back to music.
production. So
Yeah.
he went back to the book, the original book, and but then I think the Candor and Ebb archives, let him use what he wanted for it.
And when you're reading that, what kind of visions do you have for those? I mean, I know you're saying like the MGM musicals, but are you thinking about the dramatic difference from the cell to these
All the
pop of
time.
color? Is yeah, yeah,
Yeah, all the juxtaposition is it's so jarring that it starts out with them in the cell,
Yeah,
and then when he starts describing it, there's the crescendo. The music starts up, and then the shock of color is so, I think, so spectacular.
brilliant,
And
brilliant.
then immediately it goes right back to the cell, and then we finish the number. And the audience, the few times I've seen it, the audience just sort of lets out a sigh because we're escaping with them both and seeing this spectacular world of inspired by MGM musicals of the 40s and 50s.
I thought
That
we'd start with the dirty, by the way. I thought we'd start with the cell and then go to the color because I mean, you transform the cell as much as he can, as much as he brings into his, his passion and his color and everything, but it's still a really drab cell. And this was a build, right? This was a build.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, was. And that's you're touching on the tricky nature of the structure of this story because it's essentially two very different movies that are woven together into one. And it's, God forbid, one of those movies is so much more engaging than the other one is. You're always jonesing to be, you know, back with the musical moments, or you're jonesing to be back with the prison drama because it's so human and touching. There, for Andrew and I, we had to visually create this balance between the two so that one was just as engaging as the other, except the terms of engagement are completely different.
Right.
Without that complete difference, potent on both sides, the story wouldn't work at all.
Yeah. I mean, the story in the cell is so personalized and so intimate because they're in this little tiny cell together.
Yeah,
And I'm sure there was a lot of discussion of what he actually brought with him, what he was allowed to bring with him, and how I actually love the reveal of the poster gradually throughout the story. I thought that was really, really great and brilliant of like he's revealing the story and then you're revealing that poster. Um, do you want to
Well,
talk?
the first photo you showed was Valentine before Melina. And so you can see there's really, it's just his books, his bed, and a candle. There's like no personal touches at all. So we were able to transform the cell with Melina's homey touches, and then created, as the two of them became closer, it really was it was their haven,
Yeah,
I guess.
and also keeping it muted. I mean, you don't want to give away the other side of the story and keeping all of their stuff muted. Was there a lot of talk about these beads and the sound of the beads and like moving the beads? And that's what I was
Well, the
thinking.
beads became a thing because they're scripted. I believe they were scripted, Scott, that they were crystal beads.
yeah,
And so I looked for crystal beads because the we use beads in other sets as well. In the Gimme Love number, there's actual crystal beads, very heavy, expensive crystal beads
The threads, yeah.
that really looked great, I think. When we go back to his home, when Melina is released, those actual beads I had shipped from the US to Uruguay, and we use them in his doorway,
Nice.
tying in, his reality with the fantasy. And then I was looking for crystal beads for here as well, and couldn't find them. And so the only thing we could find were these wooden beads, but I I I can't imagine anything better than these wooden beads
Yeah,
because they're just like,
perfect.
cheap man's version of the other, and they would have looked really out of place if they were the crystal beads that we were actually looking for. So, yeah, it really worked out for the best.
and
Yeah, I
Molina
think
uses them in such a theatrical manner.
yeah,
They're like his signature piece in there.
shutting his curtains and like yeah. But
Showtime's
I was
over.
watching that, I was like, oh man, the sound guy must have hated that. But oh well, sound guy.
It was
Um,
effective, I thought, hearing it.
oh, definitely. Because it's emotion. He gave it
Yeah.
emotion. It was great. Um, do you wanna can I ask you about the graphics of the film and
Sure.
getting to this end point and these old movie posters?
Yeah, they it's tricky stuff getting things like this to look authentic, especially when you have a recognizable star who's going to be the face of them. But we had a really talented graphic designer working with us named Mark Chang. He's based in New York. And we just kept hitting at it to, find the right language. And there's like, I'm sure you know, there's a whole range of quality of work in those old movie posters. And some are just pieces of art
Yeah.
completely on their own terms, and others are, lurid like a cheap paperback novel. And that those have their own charms because Bill was trying to hit the note that this was an MGM musical, but it wasn't one of their, prestige pictures, an A-lister. This was more like a Joe Pasternak produced kind of second tier musical with a second tier star in it.
Right,
And
right.
it's lurid subject matter in the first place. So it needed to have a flavor of cheese to it that,
Yeah.
that was unmistakable right away. So without, turning it into some piece of camp stupidity, we attempted to give it all of those nuances. And the same with the companion piece, Endless Night. Um, that's a pot boiler noir
Mhm.
feeling thing, but we don't want to make fun of them. We just want to embrace what's wonderful about them.
I mean, I wish that was the poster though. I feel like they should use that in marketing. They should have used
I
that
think
one. Oh,
it
I
would have confused the audience. I mean,
It was
not
also printed on beautiful, cheesy like newsprint. It was on,
Mhm.
it was on, a very appropriate paper stock that would have been originally used. So that added to it as well, I think.
yeah.
Oh, it's great. I mean, there's graphics is so important and tells such stories in the background that I just love pointing out all the graphics and everything because I know it's a lot of work and it's a lot of clearances and it's a lot going on those
Well,
posters.
thanks for noticing because I think
Oh,
graphics are so important, and Scott and Mark did a fantastic job, I think, with the graphics throughout.
no,
It's
they had
tricky too because graphics can be so deeply crappy so easily.
yeah.
They always draw your attention, and it's hard not to think everything looks fake. We're just so accustomed to artifice in that world, and it may just be the three of us because this is our job and we know it's fake and we're working hard to make it look real. But for my mind, I try to avoid graphics whenever I can because I
Hmm.
don't want to be pulled out of the story by them.
Yeah.
Well, there's so many times where I'll see a movie and it'd be like, hospital, and it'll
Oh,
look okay, but then not aged. And
yeah.
that's the one thing that always gets me when, y- you know, clearly it's a plant on and it is not aged at all. And if it's been outside for more than a week, it's gonna have some kind of something on it. So when things look too sparse, I mean too clean, that takes me away from it.
I mean, even
Yeah,
this, you have popped up edges and creases and everything within the poster to show that he's put it up and down a couple times. He's folded it in his bag and, that type of wear and tear, but he's taking care of it because
yeah.
yeah.
Well, Scott, of course, well, Scott can talk about his own collection of posters, but this has the actual folds, the distribution folds
Mm.
on, correct, Scott? I mean, I
Oh,
think
you
that's,
bet.
yeah, so
If it
it's the
didn't have
right,
the right folds, it would be
yeah.
perfect.
Um, so you shot this in New Jersey, right? And but no, the cell? Oh, I thought you
This
did the
this is
cell
in
was on location?
yeah, that was in Uruguay.
Wow. Oh, so you did all of this in Uruguay. Wow.
Yeah,
So you went to a closed, rundown prison, correct?
yeah. Pigeon infested, dangerous falling ceiling. Didn't have this. The prison didn't have any of this hardware in here. Those doors we constructed, the rail, the lighting, that was all. None of that existed.
Oh, wow.
It did have the walkways. They were unusable though, and we had to do some reinforcing to be able to use the premises. And we built into the far end of the prison to create entrances and exits that didn't exist there because it had all been just like torn apart.
I really do. There's such a key point in the film with the design of the door for the cell and how much they can look out and how much he can see and little by little they close them off to the world and it's and the vents and everything. I thought that was really genius about getting the vents in there so you can see the feet and you
Yeah,
like get the little peephole and whatever. So
yeah. And the illusion of privacy. That's where watching Hector Babenco's 80s movie was really helpful because it really is claustrophobic being in a cell all the time. And I wanted to see what tricks, if any, that they did to to break the claustrophobia without breaking the sense of security in there. And they didn't do the sorts of tricks that we designed into our set. And I think I like what we were able to achieve with just those little details that you're pointing out, because there's a lot more visual drama with that than just the hard, solid doors with the one little peep window, and that's that.
yeah. I mean, to see like foot or hear footprints or see footprints coming towards you, you know it's not going to be good with these guards. So it's not going to be good.
Always. Yeah.
Then you had this huge outside courtyard, which, I mean, this place looks pretty run down already, but you're enhancing that even?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, those big blocks that you see in the courtyard, that was just the large pieces themselves. That was some kind of art installation, believe it or not.
Hmm.
And we weren't going to be able to move them off the premises, so we just turned it into what looked like a demo slash construction site where they were making cinder blocks out of concrete and rubble.
Yeah, I was wondering about those. Is that like, because I was like, are they like breaking up? Are they making rocks? Are they making stones? Like, it works because it looks like they're putting the people to work.
Yeah,
So,
they're doing something.
yeah, they're doing
We
something
I
there.
forgot about the cinder block. We had the cinder block guy who
Yeah,
showed him how to make cinder blocks. There was a whole little
Oh,
area there um of creating cinder blocks
yeah.
for real. And I guess I didn't make it into the final cut, but we
that's
saw it.
You get bits of it as the
Yeah,
camera passes by, which is all we needed. Didn't
yeah.
want to examine it too closely.
No
how,
musical number about the cinder blocks.
yeah,
Right.
they got them all over their heads. How long did you shoot down there?
5 weeks.
5 weeks. And
We
then
had
is
10
that
days of prep. We literally wrapped up New Jersey. I came over, I think, 2 or 3 days in advance of everybody else so I could see our location options first. And I think we had about 10 days of prep before we started shooting for 5 weeks.
on the whole, how much prep did you have for the film?
Here,
Yeah.
uh, what I think we really got started sometime in February, Andy, right?
I think we had like 6 or 7 weeks.
Yeah. And we
Something
started
like
shooting. We had hard shoot dates because of Jennifer's schedule. And I think we started shooting April 3rd and wrapped it May 5th or something like that in New
Wow.
Jersey, just all the musical numbers. And
That
then
is
we came
quick.
here.
That is so quick considering how much that you built and the choreography, I would think,
Yeah.
and songs and everything going into that. I feel like
Yeah.
that's really tight.
Jennifer
they
started
started here.
rehearsing with the choreography in November the year before. She had already been, I think, 3 weeks into rehearsing in December when I first started talking with Bill.
Mm.
So she had a good head start.
Thank you so much for sharing set details and floor plans because I dork out about that. I love looking at I love looking like at the ADG presentations. I look at them throughout the year and I just go back and I'm like, wow, how they built that? That's great. I love it. I love the ADG presentations. But we're looking at your Aurora's apartment bedroom suite details and your inspiration board and just can you talk about how you came upon like specifically the style that you wanted and then the color for the room? Because
Thank
the
God
color
Andrew
you chose
remembered.
isn't, you know what I mean? It's not in the research.
Yeah, it's funny, the actual colors came a little later.
Mm.
But Andrew and I, we have a lot of the same reference points in terms of decorators we love and periods that we love. So it was fun, Andrew, showing you these my initial boards, and you instantly like picking out what things were and knowing how to take the sensibility and run with it.
I love good research, and you are a master of that. And the picture of the bed, I mean, we really use that as a stepping stone, and I was able to copy some of the feeling. That's a rendering guide. Here's
Yeah.
the actual room. So the feeling of the panel, the paneled wall, and um, just the feel of the room.
Yeah.
The color scheme, Scott, tell Kim about the color scheme because that did change or was altered. I don't really remember where we started. I mean, this is obviously where we ended up.
Yeah, it's Bill wanted the first number to be a sock in the jaw, of
Mm.
Technicolor, and I understood that, but also thought that that's great, but we have a dramatic storytelling arc that we need to achieve with the color story as well as the design itself of each of the different musical spaces, because they start in this place, which is kind of fairy tale princessy. It's very much what it is, but by as we go further into the drama, the musical numbers themselves, while still maintaining a period sensibility, they become more abstract
Right.
and they become more artificial and more theatrical and more emotional and all of that. So I thought, in terms of color, so that we can travel distances in Technicolor as we go through the numbers, that I would start in a place that was more muted. Instead of being this saturation point, what I originally pitched was very elegant kind of silver blue gray with ivory trim and a really pastel-y kind. It was more flesh colored bathroom
Mhm.
Mm.
than suck you in the kiss or salmon. Um, and Bill, he liked the balance, but he wanted full velocity Technicolor, boom, saturated. So we did, and because the palette itself was still so constricted, it's just the blue, just the buttercream, and then the big smacky salmon when you open the bathroom door.
Mhm.
It gave us more places to travel as we continued on in the story, so that the big color explosion really happened when we were in the village for the first time
Mm.
in that shot, and you saw all the colorful costumes and all the that stuff.
I was obsessed with this set. It was the first set that we shot, and I love a tight palette, and it was really fun to find all these pieces, these 1940s art moderne. It's not deco, it's not
Yeah.
mid-century. It's Hollywood Regency. I
Yeah.
guess that's what you call it now. But um, there's a lot of French influences in it, but it's really fantasy. So to establish that creamy trim color and then have the furniture go with it, all the pieces like the vanity and the other shot, if you can show that
Yeah.
previously. Yeah, the secretary and then the vellum piece
Yeah.
out on the hallway, those were all, we didn't paint those at all.
Oh,
Those were rented. They were very expensive. They were rented. And then we painted the frame of the sofa and the frame of the ottoman to match. So it was it, we had some good luck finding pieces that really matched nicely and set the tone.
You
yes.
did amazingly well. The things that Andrew would come back with his shoppers and fill our warehouse space with were extraordinary.
Mm. I
Oh,
love.
I love doing it, and we should also say that we were working within a budget.
Yeah.
This was a tight budget, so some pieces here are actually new, and shame on me because they're not actual antiques, but they work. I'm not gonna say which ones they are, but they work beautifully, I think.
No, I'm not. I can't tell a thing. I love that the tufted wall and then the detail above the mirrors going into the hallway of the tufted. Is it satin? It's satin or is it silk or that you have?
It's a satin. I think it was a grosgrain satin.
Yeah.
a little texture to it, or a file. I think it was a file.
And also, I have to say, this picture particularly is fantastic that you catch the vanity reflection in the mirror. That's like, it's such a perfect picture. It's so great.
It was
Um,
such a great set to shoot. They
yeah, and
looked
such an introduction to this character.
yeah.
That's what's so great. It's like, boom, she's here. Boom. This is the story that he's going to tell him, and it's like it's so intense on
Yeah.
screen. Yeah, it's
And
great.
it's so fucking girly, you know? We're in this nasty prison
Thank
set,
you.
and now
Yeah,
we're in
I
his,
mean, yeah,
Molina's mind, his
you're
fantasy of how he wants to live.
you're going from the beats to
Yep.
the real deal. Yeah,
Yep.
no, it's great. I also love your renderings and everything just as influence for everyone to see, and I always love a good rendering to help
Yeah. They're
out.
so important because the
Yeah,
closer you can get to what the final idea is, the better. And, it gives you an opportunity to either accept it and go on the ride, or a director to reject it entirely and say, try again.
yeah. In
Well,
time,
it's really,
in time. Give us
yeah,
Yeah.
time. Yeah,
very helpful for me too. I worked with the graphic artist to put in pieces that we actually found. So you'll see some of the pieces are the actual ones and others are
right.
holding, but yeah, I think it really
That's
it
always helpful.
came together. Yeah.
Show what I have. Show what I can get. It's not some illusion that I can't get
Yeah.
or have made in
Right.
my budget.
Right.
And the bathroom, as you said, like the salmon color that pops through the bathroom. And again, a fantastic picture of the room being reflected in the mirror is another fantastic thing. I don't know if that's real. I don't know. Is that real? Is that
That's
real?
the that is the what would be the real reflection in there, but what was in that photograph was just a black doof that was hanging for lighting.
Okay.
And
You
my
fooled
dummy
me, Scott,
cabinet
once
was
again.
Because I was like, wow, that's like, then I was like, well, the photographer's not in there, but it's a
What's
perfect.
funny? I have to tell you, Kim, and Andy knows this already. The When Bill and I first started working on this, he said, "I just have to let you know I hate pink." It's like, what? He
Well,
said, "Yes, I know, and Barbie's out there, and everybody loves it. I
yeah.
just hate pink, so don't do pink." And I thought, okay, so here is our first set up, and here's this bedroom that's the blue and the yellow, and this is the only color that would work and be the right Technicolor contrast, period. But I didn't tell him. I
It's
thought,
also
Walk into
salmon.
it.
Let's be real. It's
Yeah,
not
it's
Barbie
not.
pink,
yeah.
it's salmon.
And I knew that he would see it for the first time in its context and get it. He's a smart guy. And he did. He was like, okay, well, I hate pink. This is wonderful. Great.
Well, that's good. I mean, isn't that the best part of like trust between everyone of like, just trust me, this is gonna work. Like I let, there's so many positions on a film and TV and just trust people to do their jobs. Trust.
It's rare to come by. I think it's the
Yeah.
product of long-term relationships more than it is first timers encountering each other, which was the case here.
No,
It's
no fear.
I think once Bill started seeing the sets and seeing that they were coming together in a pleasing manner for him, he started to relax a bit more, but it was tricky getting there.
How many stages did you guys have?
What, three, maybe? Four if you count the stupid rehearsal hall that we had to trick out.
Fun. Was everything built or did you have to build, take down and build?
It was, yeah, we it was half
You
and half,
did?
really. We had to fill our first stage with the first three sets to shoot because,
Four sets actually. Wasn't it four? Jungle Hut,
oh yeah,
Aurora's, nightclub, ballroom.
ballroom and the supper club.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
supper club, ballroom, bedroom, jungle hut, right. And
And
that was only like 5 days worth of shooting.
That was week one.
Yeah. And then we went away to a different location entirely and shot a few days there and then came back and blah blah blah.
but it's not like that helps. I mean, Andrew, I mean, I know. Oh, we'll start on location so you guys can get the builds done. That doesn't help me.
Well, but it was actually great having four completely different sets ready at the get-go. And
Well,
they were so, big and colorful that it was inspiring for everybody. So I think that it was great getting that out of the way and also setting the tone.
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. And everyone's seeing it. Also, the crew and everyone getting that vibe of this is what we're doing. I think that always lends to like the excitement and people, getting it done.
yeah, for sure.
Seeing sets in process and having people comment on them is not something I like.
Also, I'm looking at this. I haven't seen this for quite a while.
Mhm.
Your plan of the ballroom, it reminded me of your original plan for Aurora's, which was at least twice the size and had it was two different rooms, wasn't it, Scott?
Yeah, it was a
Around.
sitting room and a bedroom and a bathroom.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the evolution, you try so many things sometimes, and a lot of times it comes into stage space. How are we going to fit it
Yeah,
in there?
and budget. There was a lot in this film that we just couldn't afford to do. Was a big dream sequence that was inspired by the American in Paris ballet that
Mm.
was going to take place in the village. We had to cut that. We had to cut one entire side of the village set because we couldn't afford to build all four sides. So that went.
Yeah, well, scale it down. Make it big. Write it big, scale it down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure in
right,
this case.
right big. We're looking at the Allure Ballroom board and influence, and then seeing your final concept with this huge dance space in the middle,
Yeah.
which is sometimes scary that there's nothing there. Don't you find that? Oh, should we put something over here?
Well,
Should
there was a lot of stuff in there that we took
there
away.
was
There
there
were
was.
at
Oh,
least
okay.
twice the number of tables and chairs,
Mm.
but it became apparent that they needed the space for the dance, and you don't miss them at all. I mean, you see the tables and chairs in the background, but
Getting
uh,
bodies in there fills it
yeah.
up quickly. I
Yeah,
love the gold chairs. I love these gold chairs. I
pretty
mean,
pretty.
it's so pretty. And then these backlit screens that you've designed around the room also are so pretty and give such great light detail when they're dancing and behind them, and it's really pretty gold and dark, like a dark blue, like a royal blue set,
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
say. Yeah.
And this is all the gold here was inspired by Colleen's dress for Jennifer.
I love
This
that
was
dress.
all
Oh my
going
God,
to
I love
be
that dress.
silver originally, but as soon as I learned that she was going to be in a gold lame number, it's like, okay,
Oh,
that's
Yeah,
that's
her dresses were just
oh,
spectacular,
yeah,
and just the pop of color and how they fit into the sets were just gorgeous.
was that a lot of back and forth with costumes about playing off of what she's going to wear, or maybe, hey, this room's going to be, bluish and salmon? Like, was that?
it was kind of an effortless communication
Mm.
with Colleen and Bill because we would always have a moment at the start of speaking of a space like this, and whether or not she had a photo to show me of Jennifer wearing something, trying it on, or if she just mentioned what she was doing with colors, we were always in sync as a result because we were listening to each other. And I
Mm.
wasn't getting stuck on I wasn't going to paint this gold this set at all. It was going to be platinum. It's going to be silver highlights, but the dress got to go for that.
Yeah. I think that's my favorite dress of hers in the film. I think when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, is that
Yeah,
real? Can someone buy
it's
it? Can I buy
gorgeous.
that?
And I think, if I recall correctly, for the Aurora bedroom, uh, Colleen was actually putting Jennifer into a pink slip, not the ivory that matches the room, but she saw the illustration for the room and changed it to go
Nice.
with it.
No, everything just works so perfectly together in this film. And then you have the sets that really homage the MGM, like the Singing in the Rain, This Girls, American in Paris with this interior club, Mocambo? I'm
Hmm.
gonna say it wrong. Mocambo. I love this. I
Is that
love, oh man, I love this striking red and then like these black sort of highlights, if black can highlight, but yeah, it's now did you pick um how do I say this? Like to absorb the color. Do you know what I mean? Like you're absorbing the color rather than reflecting it
Oh,
with your
yeah,
brush.
sure. It's, I mean, it's much more intense this way. Didn't didn't want to have, if you're talking literally about not having glossy reflections and all that,
Right,
yeah,
right.
very for sure. And it's supposed to, I mean, it's supposed to feel theatrical and artificial and emotional. It's not supposed to feel like a glamorous interior at all. We're in like a drugged dream space now. And that's why the gestural quality of all the slashing marks are the way they are. This isn't a happy-go-lucky moment in the story
Mhm.
at all.
I
Um,
mean, Scott and Bill and I, we all understand this, but I wonder if a lot of the moviegoers are gonna they're not gonna know this reference, but I wonder if they're gonna get that it is stylized and not just like poorly done. Or I wonder because it is such a specific homage to MGM musicals.
Oh yeah, it's the theatricality that they so often embraced, and that
well,
very
I think smart people get it.
people who've been exposed to it, they know what they're
Yeah.
looking at. But
I
people who've
mean,
never seen
American
this
in
stuff,
Paris, I mean, film students, these are things they should be, I mean, they should be studying Cedric Gibbons and Edwin
Yes.
Williams. I mean, I'm putting out a whole class on them basically, and just studied like Ziegfeld Follies and American in Paris, and I love all that. I just love their influence, which is hundreds of films that they influence with their designs. Although he did thousands of films, which is weird.
Well, the fact that we got to do something like this, it was a real gift. I mean,
Yeah.
no
I
don't you
kidding.
think,
mean,
Scott? Like
th-
when do you get the chance to do sets like this? I mean, it was
something
just
so
yeah.
abstract and so bold. It's so fantastic.
Doing
And
this was in many ways a dream come true because I've always wished during my design career that I had lived back then when they
mhm, me
did
too.
these
Hmm.
things.
Me
And
too.
look, we
Yeah.
got to do one. It's a miracle.
Yeah. And
And one
what?
thing we had to excuse me,
Oh,
we worked closely with the choreographers because inevitably in all these sets they're dancing on top of furniture, they're needing space between, set dressing. So there was a lot of back and forth with them as well.
and was this scripted like this, or was this like talked about of like this is what I want to do, this is what this design will be for this?
You know, at the this we wound up here typically, right, through the design process of, Bill and I talked about a couple of different reference numbers that we thought were interesting and had the right tonal quality, but my brain was going in a very different direction from this initially.
Mm,
And what I was doing was feeling it was steamy and kind of tropical feeling.
mm,
It felt more like um, it referenced the jungle, Spider Woman, all of that stuff in ways that the Jungle Hut was hitting a little bit. And I just kept getting bogged down in the visual detail of where my brain was going. So I just put a stop on that and was looking at the movie Like Girls for a different number. I was finding inspiration in the opening number of Late Girls for the set for our finale, actually, the Only in the Movies staircase set. But in the process, I watched this number and thought, oh my goodness, look at that.
yeah.
And the quality of the gestural sketchy and, just emotional paintbrush quality of that felt like, oh, this is the language of the emotion in this moment. And what if instead of being playful like this, we did a variation on the theme but made it feel edgy and somewhat dangerous?
Yeah, the black,
That's,
right?
yeah, that's how this wound up to be what it is.
And did you have or did the DP, did he have concerns about this and lighting in red, like the red and just having the few?
No, he
No?
was completely turned on by it. In fact, he just super saturated the red with his lights as well, and got the white keys, so it felt like an old movie lighting job and not super abstract. But the actual opening of this number before Jennifer walked in that we filmed, it was all red lit. It was all the extras doing a big crowd thing first, and then she walks in the door, and it looked appropriately surreal, but he didn't want to use it in film.
Mm. Oh, I like this, seeing that.
That's pretty cool.
And also, we have a painter doing the painting of it, and just I love painter. I mean, God bless the painters. They're worth millions with their talent and how much they can help a piece of furniture, or they can
Mhm.
draw a faux, marble, anything. I mean, the painters are so important in our world.
It's so true. And this guy was a master at doing this kind of line work. He was one of the old school guys. We
Mm.
had great painters on this show. New York, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm, all right. The Palace Hotel. Now, I feel that when you're talking about color and the progression of this film, you start to get a little darker, a little deeper, a little like more into the story. You've changed your palette a little, you know.
Yeah,
To,
and we're following the moods of the songs as well. So this is a very different kind of song and a very different mood.
in the hotel suite,
Yeah.
which is towards the end of the film. But these beautiful velvets and the leather and the curtain pattern and everything to play off of these colors are fantastic.
They're beautiful.
Yeah,
Andy, you're so good at what you do.
I love it.
Oh,
I love
stop.
it.
Really are.
There were some more flowers that didn't, I think we got the flowers like the morning of the shoot, so
Wait, I thought
some
I
of them
missed.
aren't in these shots, but
Yeah.
um and the bedroom you don't see very much of. You see Melina at this vanity. If you look closely, the hair receiver, that lidded box has a spiderweb pattern on it.
Oh, beautiful.
Um,
Notice
but
that.
then you saw Jennifer's reflection in the trifold mirror. But I really love this room. Scott's colors were so inspiring to fill up with stuff. I just love the two rooms together.
Yeah, they really played together so well. Yeah, we weren't in that bedroom a lot, were we?
No, you couldn't see it.
It's a beautiful bed,
Yeah.
beautiful sheets, beautiful curtain.
You
I
do
mean,
see her on the bedspread, and I'm glad the
love
pattern is so bold that you really do see that.
it. Yeah. Um, so was this one of the first sets, or this was a takedown and then you rebuilt?
I think it's the last set we shot before I think you might have even been gone when we shot this, Scott.
I was gone when you shot it. I left right before you guys got in here. This is actually just a redo of the Supper Club, the bright orange number where the that mambo
Oh yeah.
takes place. This is that same set. Actually, we just subdivided it with the entry wall on the left there that takes you into a bedroom. If you pulled that out and removed the fireplace, you'd realize it's the same space.
You fooled me.
And that's
Good.
so MGM. They would have done that back in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah. For Harry, repaint, redress, flip the walls around. Isn't that? I mean, we're amazing. And then, I mean, the jungle, the kiss, the spiders, what you're waiting for. It's what you're waiting for in this film. I mean, that's a lot of nice greens you got there. We have your concept drawing, and then your jungle surrounded by blue screen. And
It's so funny.
so
We
fun.
had a great greens guy named Mike Thompson, and he totally got the idea of let's do something that feels luscious and fake and, delightfully theatrical, and don't try to make it feel like an authentic jungle, please.
Yeah.
And I think he hit the balance really beautifully.
I think it's a very hard line,
Yeah.
though. It's a very hard line to be
It's
like,
true. And it's funny too. It's like one of those cases where if you're an audience member who's never seen an old movie that's got a soundstage jungle in it from 1948, you're going to look at this and go,
right.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
That is so phony. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I hope, well, I feel like the audience who's watching this gets it. So I feel, I don't know. I feel like I, plus you're in this imaginary world with them the whole time. You want it to be the fantasy.
Yeah, sure.
You want that kiss. You want that kiss to come. I love this set. This set I love. The Molina's movie set that you did, which curtains and drapery is like is so fantastic. And it's so hard to get those drapes so perfect. So kudos to your draperer for doing all this.
They did marvelous work.
Um,
And
it's
we had the art director who was supervising this for us had spent a huge chunk of his career touring Phantom of the Opera. So if
oh,
anybody knew how to make stage drapes work, it was him.
it's very Ziegfeld Follies to
Yeah.
me. That staircase and the drapery is beautiful. How did you come up with this color scheme and this? Are they all blue or are they white that are lit?
They're actually gray, and that's
They're
blue
gray.
light on them. And
Hmm.
the environment itself was gold. They kept the gold light on that. And then we've got all the women in the red costumes. There's a I don't think any of us keyed in on it at the time, but there's a number that Andy and I love called you probably saw it if you saw Ziegfeld Follies,
Yes.
Limehouse Blues, the
Ending?
Chinese
The Chinese, yes. Oh yeah.
dream sequence.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's one of my favorite things. I watch that sequence over and over just for inspiration. It's there's so much there. It turns out that this set for this number has almost exactly the same intense color palette.
Oh
It's
wow.
blue, it's the gold, and the red.
No, it's a beautiful contrast and so elegant.
Yeah.
Um, Andrew, how'd you get this much yardage?
We we bought them out. We worked on this for quite a while, and
Yeah.
we knew that it was really important to get the drape just so. So Paul, who did the was our art director, as Scott mentioned, did just a fantastic job. I don't know who else could have done, something this grand and pulled it off as he did. So we're so thankful. But yeah, we just bought a lot of fabric,
Yeah.
and he worked with the fabricator to get the swags right and to get the lines right for the reveals. One thing I did that you sadly don't see in the finished movie is in Molina's house in his bedroom. I had similar chiffon curtains in his bedroom in front of a vanity. So
Yeah.
that was another little touch that would have tied it in, but uh,
I
I know
think
it's there.
I
Oh, you
don't
know
have
what? Do you remember the mannequins too in the shop window?
Yes.
There were all of these. There's a tremendous amount of material at the end of the movie when Molina's out of prison and he's going
yeah.
about living his life and doing his thing. That's not in the movie at all. It's
Oh,
story detail after detail after detail that we're just cut, and it's fine. I think it's very strong the way it is. But we had all of these not that subtle visual references to things that we were going to experience in this musical number at the very end when he dies that we were foreshadowing because they were pieces of his everyday life. Those blue curtains and the red dresses that the girls are wearing are something that we see in the shop window that he's looking at before he's killed. And it's
mhm.
there was connective tissue that is lost now.
Well, we know it's there now.
Yes.
We know. I expect nothing less from this dynamic duo. I expect nothing less.
But a lot of cuts that are made are all for the better. I mean, it's a much
Yeah.
tighter ending, and
You bet.
we miss those things, but no one else will
Well,
really miss them, I don't
I
think.
always say there should be a designer cut. Forget director's cut. There should be a designer's cut of
I would love that.
yes,
Nice.
and then decorator details.
Yes.
Because
Oh,
yes. Um, the painting technique that you had for the back, I was going to ask about too. That is like you said it's a silver and then it's like sponged on top to get that.
yeah, it's old. It's total old school scenic tricks
Mm,
that we did.
it's beautiful. It's beautiful. The supper club. It's a fun set. I mean, that is fun. The floor, the graphics on the flooring, that sort of, and this is a big number in the film.
Yeah.
This is her like big time. She shows who she really is, I think, in this sequence. Um, were you so wait, so this is the hotel room? Is that what you just told me?
Yeah.
What? Where'd the stage go? No.
Covered it.
It's beautiful. And these lighting, so did you get chandeliers and then put in all the
We did. We
yeah.
found faux twiggy uh, chandeliers that were metal, and then we added the large leaves and the white branches.
Did you make these call these they're like lights coming out?
No, those were rented from Newell,
Oh.
one of our premier prop houses in New York.
Hmm.
I don't know if they've ever rented those before because I saw them and knew they'd be perfect for here, and we got them in. And there are many pieces. They're carved alabaster, so they're very, very heavy and very fragile. And when we assembled it, we realized that the lamps had never been electrified and never lit. So our in-house electrician spent some time electrifying those. There's a pair of them. And my favorite detail in this room actually are the chairs.
Yeah.
Those we had
Good build.
altered. We bought, I think, 75 chairs and gave them to our fabricator to recover them in the orange vinyl, and then do the cutout in the back, and then add all the brass tacks. And then my favorite little detail is the handle on the top.
Oh,
Um, and I like these so much. I had enameled little badges made for the crew. So we
no.
all have little badges of these chairs.
Oh my God, that's fantastic. The handle detail is fantastic. Old school. Old
Well,
school.
that showed up in Scott's research, and it was a dilemma of can we afford to do these chairs because they were, they were pricey, but so I think important to the room because they really do,
Yeah.
that detail really helps sell it. So we found room in the budget to do it, and yeah, I love those.
How many pianos did you rent for this film? Because there's a lot of, aren't there like four or five?
There's three. I think
Three?
we reused the one in the nightclub.
Mm,
There was a black piano there, a baby grand or a grand.
oh God. And so doing these musical numbers, does the choreographer say like I need 45, 45 degrees here. I need 45 feet or I need 30 feet or I need, do they tell you that? Or they,
Yes and no.
yeah.
The choreography changes all the time, and that's something that we dealt with for all of the musical numbers. They'd have it set one day, Bill saying yeah, 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 and then the next day it's all changed again. So there was a lot of back and forth in terms of what the spatial needs were for particularly the last number, the only in the movies number, and also in the Where You Are number where they're dancing on the lit boxes.
Oh,
But
right.
for something like this scene, the mambo or the ballroom earlier in the film, it's a given they're going to need as much floor space as they can get.
Yeah.
So you just keep that in mind.
But I
Well,
think the interaction, like when we get to the everyday man in the dark room,
Yeah.
there were very specific needs there with a cart that had to move, a light switch on a wall at a certain height that doesn't make sense, but that's how it was choreographed. So they would ask for things, we would give to them. Many times we would give them rehearsal pieces, and they become so accustomed to those, we then had to retrofit something into an already designed set that were to those specifications that didn't quite fit what we had in mind. So
right.
there was a bit of back and forth with that, but it all turned out in the end. But
Oh, yeah.
it's tricky when you give them something to rehearse with, and then they feel like they can't veer from
Yeah.
that. But then you can't find something that's the right color and size and affordability for the actual, when you go to do the real set.
Yeah. It's the same problem with stunts.
Yeah.
Stunts, that's the
Yeah.
same thing. You give them the room and then they found a
Hmm.
chair they like and you're like, well, we don't have any chairs here. Like,
Right.
yeah. And then this village that you also built. I mean, it's a 360 of just character here. How did you is this based off of anything or this is completely you?
It's no, it's based on one in particular, but a couple of different MGM musical
Mm.
sets. Yolanda and the Thief had a South American village set that's much bigger than ours, and it was an exterior backlot thing that was wonderfully textural, like this set and similar shapes. And then the arcade on the left-hand side of the image, that's a nod to this standing set that they used over and over again for their South American themed musicals.
Mhm.
So it's, you know, once again doing our best to be inspired by what we've seen.
And then I mean, all of these are dressed. I mean, this is a pretty big dress. Was this last, did you say?
It wasn't.
It wasn't.
It
Mm.
was the
Kind of
big.
in the middle.
Yeah, it was the big set that took the most
Yeah.
labor and time and all of that,
Mhm.
and it was supposed to have. We barely see it in the movie. The
Yeah,
the shots are
it's
so
disappointing that
because
we,
they didn't have enough extras, so they were
Mm.
trying to hide the fact that their
How about
carnival was
extra?
sparsely populated.
but
Mm.
the interiors were fully dressed.
Yeah.
The bar had a lot of great details in it. You can see it there, but you don't really see it in the film.
No.
All, and that was all four walls. And then we did a hat shop. We did a couple of other interiors that you don't even catch a glimpse of.
Well, and then for this, I mean, you have a lot of aging and painting here. If you're building this, did you feel like you had enough time to dress it? Because painters get in there, it's a lot of aging. It's kind of like screws me up a
We
little.
Yeah, we had enough time for this
Yeah.
because it's such a large set. It's easier when it's a large set because the scenics can be in one corner. We can do, go elsewhere. So I felt like we had time to do this. I don't think there was a crunch. Do you, Scott, to
Uh,
get this ready?
we're such a well-oiled machine too. You came in as soon as painters were out of the way and started layering in your pieces. It was good.
Is this is this a green screen around the whole set, or is that painted backing
It's added in post.
added in post? Oh, I didn't.
It's not what's in the movie either. That's just
Oh,
for
I was gonna say
looking at it.
big. That's a big. And then more greens and the growth and everything that you show is fantastic. I know there's sets that I didn't get to, but
Okay.
I'm glad I got through a lot. So thank you.
Ew, this has been a pleasure.
No, good. Thank you so much. I hope to see you at like ADG, Oscar, any of those. I hope your names are in the envelopes. So congratulations on the film. It's really, really beautiful.
Thank
Really.
you. Tell your friends.
Thanks, Kim.
We need people
Thanks
to
so
go see
much.
it.
Tell me what?
Tell your friends. We need people to go see it.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
On
Well,
the big screen, of course.
of course. Well, you have to. You can't see this small. You can't. It's a theater film. So yes, definitely.